Hi everybody, it's Christine coming to you from the Cards by Christine Studio here in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. And I have a card for you today that uses the beautiful Bauble stamp set and matching framelits. So this is what the front of the card looks like, and the inside says, "Hope you find beauty in the details of the season." It's a beautiful stamp set if you love ornaments. And in the stamp set, you get a really big ball ornament. You get some little baby ornaments that are all together, and when you actually stamp them, the die actually cuts all of them out. So really cool for like stamping it, coloring it, and then popping them up. And then it's got a saying, says, "Deck the halls and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you." Well, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to set this stuff off to the side for now. The colors that we're using are Night of Navy and then Balmy Blue. And we're using some of the En Route Designer Series paper. I've already got a piece of it cut out, and you can see on the back side, it's the route, like the road and like the city streets. So that's the En Route Designer Series paper. We've got some vellum in here that we're going to emboss with the Softly Falling embossing folder. We pulled in some of the medium navy baker's twine. And then I love this ribbon. It's silver mixed with white and it's satiny. They also, Stampin' Up! Has it with vanilla and gold for the edging. We're going to pull in some Night of Navy ink here and the snowflakes in Balmy Blue here. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started then. The card base that we have is your traditional half sheet of paper, which is 8.5 by 4 1/4. And what we're going to do is we have it, I'm sorry, it is 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. If you don't score it, that's okay. When you line up the quarters, you just want to make sure that they're even so that you fold that nicely. Bring in your bone folder to burnish the edges. Okay, then what we can do next is take our piece of vellum and we'll emboss it. But before we do that, I just want to tell you what some of the sizes are here. For the white inside, it is 4 by 5 1/4. Our Balmy Blue piece is 5 3/16 this way by 3 15/16 this way. So it's slightly smaller than you can see here, it's just slightly smaller than the navy. All right, and then our vellum is 5 1/16, so it's just slightly smaller, by 3 13/16. So that's the 3 13/16 by the 5 1/16. So that just gives it that, you'll get to see some of that Balmy Blue shine through around the edges there. Okay, so those are some of our sizes. And what we're going to do is pull in the Big Shot and move this off to the side. And we're going to emboss the vellum. Okay, so let me get this. And I have to switch out my plates here and pull in the Big Shot platform and then a clear plate. Now you can see that my embossing folder got some love here. It still works just fine. Just know that that's because it wasn't put in here correctly or like lined up properly, and it gets eaten. So you gotta be careful when you're putting your plates in and your embossing folder. So what I'm gonna do is put this closer. Let's see here. I'm gonna put that closer to the bottom here. Now there's no, like, you can have it a little crooked. There's a little forgiveness with it. But you always want to make sure the spine goes in first. You're going to layer that on here. So you can see this embossing folder is about the width of the plates. So you don't want it in there crooked like that. It will get eaten. If you ever are using your Big Shot and it just doesn't want to go, do not force it. Give it, back it out and make sure things are lined up properly. It should never be very difficult to, to crank this handle. Okay, you can see how easy that was for me. When you take that out of here, doesn't that look super cool? It looks like snow falling from the sky. Okay, so I'm gonna move this out of the way and make way for this. Okay, so now we've got that piece lined up and that looks good. What we can work on next is stamping. So I've got the it's Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Now, I don't know if you have a Stamparatus at home, but I highly recommend getting one, and you can always get that through me if you would like to place an order. You can contact me, I can help you with that, or just go directly to my store. But the Stamparatus is super cool. It's got plates on it. It comes with 2 plates, and they fit on the top and the side like this. So they're reversible, so you actually get 4 surface areas in one. Comes with 2 magnets. Now you can buy an accessory. The grid paper is an accessory, and I'm going to show you how awesome this works. So I want to stamp the Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. So what I'm going to do is put my piece of Balmy Blue, and I'm going to put it top to this edge and this edge flush. And I'm going to use magnets to hold it down. And what I'm going to do, it's always good to have something underneath this side just to kind of hold it flat. Otherwise it's going at a curve down. So we're going to pull in the Night of Navy ink, and we're going to ink up the saying. Now the Stamparatus works really good with Stampin' Spots, so it doesn't take the risk of getting ink all over your surface. But as long as you keep this ink pad pretty flat and don't curve it, it won't get ink around the edge. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is pull this over. You can see here I got a little bit of ink, but that's okay. I'm going to push this down, and you can see, oh, that didn't stamp very good. Maybe I didn't get enough ink there. That's okay. I can go ahead and re-ink this and put this right back down on there and press hard. Okay, that filled that in. Now, if you wouldn't have been using the Stamparatus and you would have been free stamping this, then it's possible that you wouldn't have lined it up properly. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do one more layer here. I want to do a second coat per se, because of the vellum being on the top of this, I want to make sure it's really nice and dark. So by putting another layer here and squishing again on here, it's going to make it a little darker. All right, perfect. So that piece is stamped. There's nothing else we need to do with that. You also want to be very careful with the magnets, not that they like snap together. Some people have it, if they are sitting on here and they get too close, they will jam together and they can potentially break. So you want to be careful with that. So I'm going to set these off to the side, move out this piece of paper, and now I'm going to flip my plate around because I've got this set up from class, and we have the inside saying on here. So to do the inside saying, I'm going to pull in my piece of white. It's Whisper White. Now I've got, I don't know if you noticed on here, but I've got some washi tape. I'm sorry, it's not even Stampin' Up. I don't waste Stampin' Up washi tape like this. I only waste other brands that I have that I'm trying to use up. So that's not Stampin' Up, but that's because it's garbage. It's being wasted. So what I did is I already lined this up. So all I have to do is make sure I get my Whisper White in here in the middle. And what I'm going to do is put one magnet down on the top and one at the bottom. And then I'm going to ink up in the Night of Navy on here. Now when you stamp on Whisper White, one time should be sufficient. So we're just going to go ahead and put this straight down. And I'm going to put good pressure on here. And you're going to see that it looks really good. Now if you didn't push down properly in one area, there is ink usually right on that area on the stamp that's left. All you'd have to do is flip that back over and re-stamp it. But this looks good to me, so I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave my magnets on opposite ends here. Okay, and get that out of the way. And so now we have Hope You Find Beauty in the Details of the Season. So I'm going to go ahead and just grab a piece of scratch paper and put that underneath me because I'm going to stamp the snowflakes here. And the snowflakes are done in the Balmy Blue, and this is the new style of ink pad. It's like a compact case, so you're going to flip the top open, swing the top back, and then just slide it shut, slide it open. And the snowflakes come from this set. There's just this little one right here with these 4 snowflakes. And the way I got it to be two-tone, you can see like there's dark and then there's light ones. That's called first and second strength. So when you stamp, you can stamp once, stamp twice. And that's how you get that two-tone look. So we're going to stamp there, and we're going to stamp there. Now I wanted the look of snow falling from the sky. So I am going to do it across the whole top of my paper, just like so. Now if you don't like that look so much, you can see that I missed that little guy there, so I'm just trying to go back over the top of it. But if you don't like that look, maybe just put some snowflakes around the sentiment. But and this time I'm going to stamp off once and bring in a couple light ones right there. So it looks like snow falling from the sky. So that's our inside. So let's go ahead, and now we're done with all the stamping. That's all that was stamped on this card. So I'm going to go ahead and shut my ink. I like to shut my inks as soon as I'm done using them so that they don't dry out. So there's that. We have our card base, so now we can go ahead. I love to use liquid glue when I adhere paper. I just opened this one up. You can kind of see that it came out really fast. I generally just go around the edge of it like that. And what's nice about the liquid glue is that you have time in case you put it down and you need to move it around. There's some wiggle room on it. Where if you use like a tape runner and you put it down and you don't like where it went, it will potentially rip as you try to realign it. So we got that inside done. Okay, now the trick for adhering this together that I did is, you can see here I did maybe at one point have this glued down, but it's kind of loose, and I did put a little glue underneath some of these edges. But the trick is to really have it secured underneath where the ornament is. And I used tear and tape to do that, so Stampin' Up! Sells that. It's really permanent, sticky, double-sided tape. And all I'm going to do is kind of figure out where the ornament's going to go, which is right about there. And I'm going to lift this up, and I'm going to put that tear tape right about here. And the harder you press down on the tear tape, the easier it is to pick it up. And what's going to happen then is this piece of vellum is going to go right over the top of the balmy blue piece. And then it's basically secured there, and you're not going to see that tape. Now, the other trick that you can do with your liquid glue, if you want, is attaching this in the corner, kind of like underneath one of these snowflakes. So grab the paper, lift it up, and you can already see it's white there. So I'm just going to put a teeny tiny dot of glue there, and that will help that stick on that side. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to go ahead and lift this up, find one little one. See, it's already white there, so that doesn't, you don't see it then. All right, now the hard part is, let's see, where do we want to do it down here? I'm going to find this one right here. I'm just going to put a little dot, just like that. All right, that's all I'm going to do for adhering the vellum to the balmy blue piece. All right, so I had a little fall over here. I use a cup, a cottage cheese cup, to keep my utensils, and this liquid glue, it's best when it's stored with the fine pen tip down, and it doesn't really stand by itself. If you had it like that, it would stand, but then the glue isn't at the tip ready for use. So I always keep it in the container, and it tumbled over when I grabbed it out the last time. So, all right, so that's pretty much ready, but you cannot assemble this quite yet. We need to make sure we get our thread on there and our ornament done next. So this punch is actually a 2 1/4 inch punch, and I've already got that punched out. So if you're doing multiples of these, just punch them out all in a row. And we're going to be using the Night and Navy side. And then I've got a piece of silver glimmer paper. Now this is the old style of glimmer paper, and it gets glimmer all over yourself. Stampin' Up! Just redesigned the formula, and I saw it at convention. I just was at the 30th anniversary convention, and they actually put it on a block and used it as sandpaper. And it's so secure on here. It's called, like, I would call it controlled glitter. My friend Bonnie would absolutely love this new glimmer paper because it does not get glitter all over you. So with this old style paper, you know you're working because you get glitter all over your face, all over your clothes. It's a little bit thicker. The new style is a little thinner as well. And then what I did is I pulled in the adhesive sheets, and these are sheets that make stickers basically. So what I did is I cut the square size that I needed, and I put it on the back of here. And so you can kind of see right here's an edge. When I've cut this out, it's going to make a sticker that I peel that paper off, and it's going to stick right onto here. So what we need to do though is pull in the Big Shot and die cut. We're going to die cut the ornament. So I'm going to bring in my loved magnetic platform and plates. And out of here, we're going to put the silver down. And the silver glimmer paper, I would guess that is about like 2.5 by 2.5. Now, what I've found with this, now your gears are on the top and the bottom. So it's good to keep like intricate dies when you're cutting them out closer to the edge so more pressure gets put on them. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to make a couple round trips. So there's a round trip. A round trip is called forward and backward, and I'm going to do one more, just like that. Now, because this is the thicker glimmer paper, it's not going to cut it out so nice yet. You can see here it's still kind of stuck. So what I'm going to do is move it to a different spot on the Big Shot, and then I'm going to do a couple more round trips. So I'm going to do one. I'm sorry for shaking the camera on you. I hope that's okay, but my Big Shot is a little wiggly when I'm doing this. So, all right. Now we've got that. Now let's check it again. So what I do is I'll see if this wants to pull off of here. And if it does, oh my gosh. Okay, so that's awesome. Now, if I were you, if you want to make this card, I would definitely wait and buy the new glimmer paper to make this card, because otherwise you're going to be majorly cutting a lot of these. Okay, did you see how nice those pop down? Okay, so that's awesome. So that means it's pretty much ready to go. So we did 4 round trips on that, just so you know. If you try to do it in less, it might not be as nice when you're trying to pull these little pieces out. So, all right, let's get that out of the way. And so what's really nice is if you want to pull in a pokey tool, that helps. And when you do that, you just want to kind of go along the edge and pop them out just like that. You can see they fall out nice. Now, I know that when I tried this with only 4 times, it did not come out this nice. If you have, the precision base plate, that might work a little bit better too. That's really meant to be used with intricate dies like this one. But you can see in some cases it just wants to not come out. Now, this makes stickers. So all those pieces that I'm popping out are actually little stickers. So if you have a purpose for them, you can definitely go ahead and reuse them. But I'm going to end up throwing them away. Okay, so now I've got one more piece there, one piece over here. So that one seems like it's a little stuck, but you see what happens? Now that just falls out. And I'm going to see if I can get that one out yet. And, oops, see? Okay, watch this. This is what happens. That sticker, oh my gosh, look at those little guys are coming out. So that's the sticker part of it. Now, what's happening though is there's these little side pieces that need to come out yet. So what happens when you poke them with your finger, the sticker part actually sticks to your finger. So they kind of come out really nice. So there's that one. And let's see, there's one right here. And there's probably one right there, I'm guessing. Yep. And one over here. So this is where a piercing tool comes in handy. They're only $4. The other option is to get the Take Your Pick tool, which has multiple ends on it, and that's only $10. But it has a stylus, a big stylus, and a small stylus, a spatula type thing. Oh, and turn it over and you can probably see there was one more right there. Okay, so there's that. Okay, and there we go. Okay, so that's our little glittery mess going on. But now what's super cool is you can see how that's sticking to my finger. I just made that sticker. So had you not done that, you would have had to put glue somehow all over this and hope that it didn't ooze out all over the place. Now this ornament matches that 2 1/4 inch punch perfectly. And oops, I didn't get it quite right. I'm going to pull that up. And once you get it set where you want it, then all you have to do is press that on there. Look at that. See? Now it's stuck on there and you didn't have to worry about getting glue all over. It's like mess free basically. Okay, so there's our ornament. I'm going to get this hot mess out of the way. Bring in some of our other stuff here that we're working on. Okay, so we've got this medium navy, Night of Navy baker's twine. All I did was loop that through here like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop up, I don't know if you can see the card here. I've got this is popped up, you can see right with dimensionals. So pull in, I love the mini dimensionals here. I probably have a sheet of them. Let's see what we got. Oh my gosh, look at this. So you want to make sure that you're not throwing this stuff away. This edge is perfectly good dimensionals. So go ahead and cut them to the size that you want. And I'm going to put 4 of them on the back here, just like that. Now, again, the harder you press, the easier it is to pick off the backing. Okay, now that we have that, what we can do is kind of put our ornament where we wanted him. Obviously, it's a boy, not a girl, because I'm referring to it as a him. So our ornament is a boy today. So now we've got that pretty much set. Now we're going to pull back in the tear-in tape and get that off of here. And I'm going to just use that along the back side to adhere the baker's twine down. So I want to get this kind of in the middle. And just like, come on, like that. And make sure they're not crossed weird. So try to get them straight, or like, the left and the right, just like that, so they're not crossed over. And then what I'm going to do is I hold that back here, and I'm going to put this double-sided tape right over the top of this. And then I'm going to pick this paper off, and that provides extra security for this with the baker's twine. Pull in your, see, it fell over again. If you want, you can snip off the end here so that's not hanging there. Bring in your liquid glue or whatever your adhesive of choice is, and put a little glue back there, and I'm going to just do a little right there too. Okay, So go ahead and put that on your card front now. And just with that liquid glue, you're able to maneuver it where you want it. Okay, I think that looks really good. So get that secured nicely. Now you think you're almost done, but the final touch on here is making this bow. And I am going to pull in my bow maker. If you need a bow maker and you don't have one at home, contact me. You can find all my contact details in either, if you're watching on this on YouTube, just go into the YouTube, save where it is, and you can find all my contact. I'll help you get one of these. Like, they're really cheap, 10 bucks, I think, at most. But I'm going to pull this in, and I'm going to use the 2 nails. What you do is you put the end, if you're right-handed or left-handed, that might make a difference. But since I'm right-handed, I like the free end on this side. And then what I do is I cross them and bring the loose end from underneath up over the top. And while I'm doing this, I want to make sure that I'm not crossing this weird, because I want that front to look really nice. And then you bring it underneath, so like that, and then you're going to take the ends and just tie them together in a tight knot. So you're not going to knot it again, because the tighter you pull this, the harder it's going to, or the easier it'll stay. Okay, so once you've got that done, so that's what it looks like at that angle. That is the back of it, and that's the front of it. I'm going to snip that with my paper snips and take my nails out, and that's how I get it out of there. Okay, so now I have a fabulous itty bitty bow, and Stampin' Up! Has some mini glue dots, and if you get the paper pumpkin from them, you will get sheets like this from Stampin' Up! With your paper pumpkin, and you'll never use all of them in the current paper pumpkin. So what I end up doing is using them. I keep them in with my dimensionals and use them when I need a glue dot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it right in the middle, press that pretty good, and then the paper will come off, and that's going to stick right in the middle of that hole at the top with the ornament. Now, look at that. What do you do when your tails are going wonky like that? Well, you show them who's boss. You're going to put another glue dot right where you want your tails to go, and then you're going to secure them with that glue dot. So I like it like right about there, and now you're like, well, that other one needs one too. It sure does. We're going to show it where it needs to go. And it needs to be stuck on the ornament, just like that. So kind of grab that and stick it right into that. And now they're going down and look awesome. Use your ribbon. So I have a ribbon one and I have a paper one, so definitely I use it to cut my dimensionals. Don't do that, but I don't have my other one here right now, and I didn't want to go run to get it. So go ahead and make sure you're using your ribbon snips to cut the ribbon at an angle like this. All right. Yeah, there we go. All right, I think they look pretty close. So we have a beautiful ornament card made here. Can you picture this with golds and reds and greens? So making a gold glimmer with like red and green background. Oh, so pretty. And then you could pull in the vanilla with the gold ribbon here and bring in like a cherry cobbler twine here. Super, super pretty. So you can do multiple colors. Oh my gosh, even use purple. I would love this in purple and silver. Oh yeah. So anyways, I think you guys might know by now my favorite color is purple. If you don't, now you know. So there's the set using the beautiful baubles, or a card using the beautiful baubles. And here's the framelits that go with it. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me at, my email address is chrismbircham@msn.com. My website is www.cardsbychrisb.com. YouTube channel is Christine Bircham. I appreciate any and all orders that you would give me. I am just starting out with this, and every little bit helps and keeps me giving you the videos that you can watch to help you make beautiful cards and get ideas and inspiration. So, all right, I think that's it for now. I look forward to stamping with you again. Thanks, everybody. Bye.